I am here with somebody who's actually been on stage for the majority of this conference, giving us a lot of incredible golden nuggets because he has a business that is thriving. So this is Randy. Randy, tell us kind of a little bit about your business, Perfect My Home.
Yeah, so we started in 2005 in Oklahoma, and we just kind of expanded to the whole state. We have 3 showrooms. We do outdoor living. Really, pools is our main product, but everything in the backyard is essentially what we do. We also are involved in retail as well. That's what our stores are for. And we've just been doing that for about 21 years now.
Wow. And I know that you've been working with clay. So how much has that helped your business, working hand in hand with Clay Clark?
Yeah, it's worked out really good. When I started with clay about 8 years ago, we were doing about 4.2 million, and we're up to about 15 million a year now. Yeah, it's been great.
Incredible. I know just from listening today and yesterday that he has so many great ideas for businesses, and that he also works really hard. So I think just working beside him, it would be hard not to work hard. Have you felt that's the case?
Oh yeah, he's super inspiring. Just lead by example. I think the most powerful thing is to watch what someone's doing, and that's what I've really learned more from Clay than anything. Is just hey, this guy's been where he's way past where I want to be, and that's the people I want to follow.
And he even says, and watch the people who are doing bad and don't do what they're doing.
Yeah, and the Bible says, a tree is recognized by its fruit in Matthew. And so you see clay, you see success, and that's the people I want to be associated with.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I love about this is that the Bible is intertwined in the whole thing. Yeah. That God is the true leader of these companies.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been great, and I would recommend clay to really anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, check it out, you guys, thrivetimeshow.com. We're going to go check out some more of the business conference. We'll be right back. Has it been helpful for you just speaking with Clay and learning some of these nuggets?
Oh, absolutely. Clay's great, and we just love working with him. We've done this. We did a Reawaken tour here. It was a 3rd one, I believe, and so we've been engaged for quite a while.
Yeah, and I love that you guys have been standing up for truth. I really truly believe that God is very clear. That love is truth and truth is love. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes we err on one side or the other, and we need to come together and find him. And then I have this beautiful tall man, Mr. Patrick. Are you enjoying this event so far?
I'm loving it. It's my 2nd time to be at one of these events with Clay. I was just telling Phil, the longer I sit in on it, the more I learn and the more engaged I get. So I'm picking up a lot of good nuggets.
Yeah, I do feel like we have to go back and probably watch what we learned today just to remember all the great nuggets that we find.
I think so.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to take notes and record certain parts of it. But so it's great.
Absolutely.
I love it, and I go to church here. So
I'm
a big fan of
see
Phil.
this beautiful blonde man all the time. I love it. Well,
you started a business from nothing, and now you have more than 1,200 people.
In the first year we did, I think, 13,000 in sales. It was myself, a high school buddy, and my brother. Today we're doing almost $1 million a day.
Wow.
We did 200 some million last year. We're now a family business, and we have about 360 family members that work for us. So it's a big family operation. It's really hard work and not giving up.
Pat, it's great to have you on. Welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So Pat, you started a business from nothing, and now you have more than 1,200 people in California. Can you tell us, how did you start?
Yeah, so I grew up in Tustin, California. My dad worked for Eastman Kodak and went to Tustin High, and in 9th grade, walking home from high school, this guy George Waldhauser stopped me and said, I need help loading my truck. I've been trimming trees. So I started working for him at the age of 14, 15, loading this truck, and he said, you keep working for me after school. He paid me $0.25 an hour when I started in 1971, and then went through high school and started going to Saddleback College and kept working for him. And then one day he said, if you saved your money, you could buy me out. So I said, well, how much do you want? He said, $5,000. I said, okay, I'll buy you out. And at the time, it was mostly residential, mom and pop. And the first year we did, I think, 13,000 in sales. It was myself, a high school buddy, and my brother.
Right after high school?
Right after high school. A year in 73, I bought the business and worked my way. It's 52 years ago, and seems like yesterday. And then just slowly, the things changed. We were doing residential, and then Proposition 13 came along in the late 70s, I think it was 78, and cities started to privatize, and all these cities got big tree populations, and to save money because they had the 1% property tax, but until then they spent all kinds of money in-house doing the work. So we got the first city we got was the city of Tustin, and then went on from there to today we do 330 cities in California, Arizona, and we just opened up in Texas. So we're taking our model that works so good to these other regions.
Hello, this is Kurt Pringle, and thank you for tuning in to our Talking Issues series. We talk about a lot of issues here in these different programs, but one of the things that I really focus on much in my life is entrepreneurs, business, establishing business in this state and running business in California. And I guess I come around to that point because I grew up in a small business. My dad was in the dry cleaning business, and I worked there through high school and a little bit into college when we started making draperies. So yes, I hung a lot of draperies in my life and mini blinds. So I understand, hard work, working with your hands, being out in the field, doing things. And I really hold a special place in my heart for businesses like that. And today we're going to talk to somebody who really took a basic business that we all are aware of and made an empire, really a complete empire. So would you join with me in welcoming my guest today, Pat Mahoney with West Coast Arborist. Glad you're here, Pat.
Thank you. Yep.
I don't know if I really set that up right, but Pat's focus is trees, and we all have them. We all like them.
No, I love them.
And yet you have focused your entire career on trees and have really created a business empire that I really do want to focus on because it's a great story. So tell me how you started in the tree business.
This is our 52nd year, and I started in high school. Actually, I was walking home from high school, went to Tustin High, walking home from high school, and a gentleman, George Waldhauser, stopped me walking home and said,
"Hey, people are told not to do that anymore." I know.
And said, "Hey, would you help me clean these trees up that I just trimmed?" So I said, "Sure, I would." And I was a sophomore in high school, and I worked for him after high school. After school, and then once I graduated from high school, I continued to work for him. And then 1973, he said, "If you saved your money, you could buy me out." So I said, "Well, I saved my money. I'm ready." So I bought the business for $5,000 in 1973 and hired my brother and some high school friends and pushed the truck around Tustin, doing residential, some commercial tree maintenance.
Right. So trimming trees, and tell me the art of tree trimming. I mean, I want to make sure I do trim my trees properly, or I'll hire someone like you to
being an arborist.
Yes.
And today, back when I started, it was guys with chainsaws and hand pruners just out whacking at trees. And today, and part of my story as you go along, they became certifying arborists. I helped lead that challenge to where today there's like 14,000 certified arborists out there, and really just the study of trees, and it's an art.
Yeah.
It's an art.
No, I understand that because it impacts trees. I mean, I understand how to trim a palm tree, but other things I know I do it wrong, so I want to make sure I have the right skill set. Right. But your residential service to homes and businesses evolved into moving into what?
Working for cities. And
right.
When I started, cities had their whole empires themselves. All the cities did their own tree maintenance.
Right.
In the late mid 80s, early 80s, property tax changed, and cities had to start saving money. And what they did was started to privatize things out. So the first city we got a contract with was City of Tustin.
Mm-hmm.
And we hired 2 of their employees, brought them over to work for us, and did start trimming their trees, and that was in, I think, mid '80s, and we've been trimming Tustin's trees ever since. But then from Tustin, we got another city, another city. Fast forward today, we do over 300 cities in California, Arizona, and all over.
Yeah, no,
growing.
See, and that is the interesting thing. I mean, now you're able to take this business and provide that service directly into, city government, and to me, to stop and think there's 450 some odd cities in California, and you're providing service in over 300 cities. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy
cities
to
and
wrap up.
counties,
Right.
municipality.
Yeah, how can you provide out of Southern California, and I know you have a Northern California office.
Yeah.
How can you provide that service, which is a manual service and it's a professional service? How can you provide that in such a broad region and still make sure they're being done right and in a good way?
Yeah, I used to be a tree trimmer. Now I'm more a people person.
Right.
We've got 26 offices. We have these 26 area managers, 3 regional managers. But the way I describe it myself and a couple other, we get the plate spinning,
Right.
which is get the contract going. Most of these contracts are 5-10-year contracts. We probably have 95% retention, but we get them going and then we pass it off to the area manager, and each area manager will run 10 to 15 cities. And if they have a problem, they call HR or they call the equipment manager, but plates can hit the ground. They call me and I come over and help
Get the plate spinning.
get it spinning again. But
Yeah.
it's not ever, I'm asked that a lot. And I think over the 50 years, I get built layers of dealing with the different things. So
I see.
as problems come up, I say, well, I did that 30 years ago.
Right.
Addressed it. But
Yeah, and in this post-COVID time, every business that has people involved
it's
always
a real-
feels a people shortage. So how do you have staff all over the state?
all over the
And
place. We 2 years ago, we were Orange County large family business of the year for the Orange County Business Journal. Without it was Carl Jr., Ganal Lumber, a lot of real heavyweights. So we
Right.
have a ton of family members. We have about 300 family members. And not just I've got a lot of my family, but
Right.
I've got my shop foreman, his brother, his sister, his son working for us. So it's a big family feel.
but how many total employees do you have?
Today, 1,263.
Wow.
Yeah. Good.
And part of that is working for government. Do you feel the pressures of labor groups and unions and such?
Yeah, so 10 years ago, we were attacked. Actually, we worked in the state of Nevada. We did all the power line clearing in Nevada. The electrical union attacked us, or tried to unionize us. And eventually we pulled out of that because it was just such a big headache for us.
Yeah.
We came back in California, the labor's union came after us. And eventually they filed like a $200 million lawsuit and said we were paying the wrong wage, and it was all prevailing wage type stuff. So then 2 years into it, we finally agreed. Lou Correa took me to Sacramento. We met with Jerry Brown and the head union guys, and I agreed to join the union and turned out to be one of the best things besides marrying my wife. What's the best thing I did?
Yeah, make sure you get that base
kids.
covered. So, right.
It turned out to be a great thing.
Right.
The state ended up adopting our union agreement in Northern and Southern California as the prevailing wage for tree maintenance in California. So for us, when the union gives a raise, everybody in the state that does tree work has to pay that wage. And in dealing with before Lou, for 2 years, hired different people to try to help me. I would go to Sacramento and have a meeting with the DIR. I'd have to sit in the hall while they'd have the meeting. My lobbyist or guy that would go up there with me. Then Now I'm in the union and I'm a trustee on the union board.
Oh,
I go to Sacramento, and when I've been in a bunch of meetings with the contractor license board. Now they don't start the meeting till they said, Pat Mahoney's in the house, we can start the meeting. So the union brought a lot of clout, or,
right.
Clout to it.
Yeah, but it, you can see both sides.
I go both ways.
Your wage might be higher, but that's what might buy the peace in the valley, and so you can understand that. But
Exactly.
businesses, I guess, as we step back, the larger they get, they face a lot of challenges of an operation.
Exactly.
And, you faced yours and you addressed it. So with that, does that mean you have a consistency of workforce? And
Consistent workforce, they've got great benefits. The union brings that. It actually helps us with lawsuits, all the, employee type lawsuits. They're all under arbitration agreements, and the union solves all those problems. In the past, I had 3 or 4 class action lawsuits for wage and hour stuff. Now with the union help, a lot of that's resolved.
yeah, in California, private attorney general actions and things like that face a lot of small businesses.
Right.
No question. I guess I've always known of your business, in my life, because we have interacted in a lot of ways. But it was probably not until I was with you up in the wine country in Santa Barbara when we're sitting at a restaurant in Solvang and talking a little bit more about West Coast Arborists and your business. And you told me Solvang was a city that you had a contract with.
Correct.
And you shared with me how your business has evolved into technology, and how a basic business that people may look at has simple steps involved in it, but in fact, covering, as you said, covering all the labor issues and workforce issues is one thing, but also adopting technology is a part. So, tell me what technology is involved in tree trimming and managing trees in communities.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
We've actually been called an IT company that happens to trim trees.
Right.
And part of the evolution of building it's one of the key things that gets us a lot of the work. But we started 30 years ago doing tree inventory. So we go out today, we GPS every tree site, and we set up these tree inventory systems. When we started doing the inventories, we started with a PC Junior. We would inventory the tree sites, and as we did the work, we would update the inventory, but we would mail a disc out in the early days to the cities, and they would then load the disc up. And one point, I remember we were doing work, we inventoried all the trees for the city of Los Angeles, and they had our software program, and they'd have a big sheet of paper, do not touch this machine, because it would take a week. They've got like 600,000 trees.
Wow.
But so we were doing a lot of tree inventories, but the cities could never update the inventories. They just never had the time. So we set up a procedure where we do the work, and then getting billed updates the tree inventory with the bill. So it's like the carrot that gets the inventory updated.
Right.
But we have, I think, 15 people in our IT department doing the tree inventory, bringing all of this technology where we track the vehicles, we have a lot of scores that we do. I think another key thing is at the end of the day, we call it our call-in, but we record all the income for each person in each area, and then later the inventories come in and we cross that to make sure that we've got all the billing correct. It's like a checks and balance.
Mm-hmm. So the cost of service, exactly.
We
you
know
bill based
today if
upon
we
that.
made money yesterday or not. Plus the cities, we update all of that stuff, that information. And we've got a funny story. We have about 15 people in our IT department. A good friend of mine is Billy Scuffington, owns Ben's Asphalt in Santa Ana. And he said, I want to do all this IT stuff you do. And so he said, can I bring my IT guy over and see what you do? See how you do it. So he came over his IT guy, and we got about halfway through, and he said, Billy, here's the difference. Pat's spending about $200,000 a month on technology. You give me a $2,000, $3,000 job at a time,
Right.
and just feed him. So we have heavily invested in technology. We have now the tree inventories are on a handheld device that the guys carry in the field. They do a vehicle inspection in the morning. They find something wrong. It sends a service request to the shop, which opens up a detailed shop order for the vehicles. There's an accident, we know immediately. We have cameras inside and outside the trucks. We know the minute it happened, we know what happened to it, and then that gets uploaded to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just very fascinating, but also you showed me that you know that tree. So when you say a tree inventory, you know generally the age, you know the type of tree, you know the last service on that tree.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go to the city of Anaheim's webpage and go to their Public Works tree site. And
Really?
Yeah, they have, where it started, the state of California has a general accounting. It's called YASB, I think, general accounting, where every city had to inventory all of their infrastructure.
Right.
Well, it turns out, I think Anaheim's trees are worth $60 million. But what happened, so part of that, they had to inventory, everybody had to inventory it. So we went out and we inventoried everything about the tree and the value of the tree. And that was, so it's, and it was 60 million. We're now with City of Tustin, the carbon that it sequesters, they're looking at selling those carbon credits to somebody that needs them,
Right.
owning this tree population. But we've got, so a resident in Anaheim can go to the tree site on Anaheim's. So what it's on Anaheim's site, but it's through a back door that ties into our computer system and gives the resident when the tree's going to be trimmed, how much the value of their tree, all the way down to, every time it was replaced, but tells the whole history and all about it.
And even on a liability side, right? I mean, that you can record any damage to the tree or any illness or diseases of the tree.
Exactly. So liability is something that's really what drives us getting the work. So all the cities, we indemnify. So the cities, every time a tree falls and, hurts somebody or hurts a car, comes a lawsuit. So the union used to be my biggest problem. Today, insurance is a huge problem for us. So a tree falls, we end up getting dragged into it. And whoever the lawyer is for the person that got hurt or that got damaged, they sue everybody, the city, us, the landscaper, but the city pass the liability on to us. So we go out and sell the work. If the city doesn't do the maintenance, they can't defend themselves or the lawsuits.
Right.
So I got a funny story. So we're out selling this thing. I had a friend of mine that good friends with the mayor of Oklahoma City. So I go out to Oklahoma. We're looking at expanding into other states. Sit down with the mayor and the parks. And well, Oklahoma has tort reform, and the most you can sue somebody for if a tree falls is like $75,000 a city. And it's like they've got one tree guy doing the whole city, parks, golf courses. Here we do, like the city of San Francisco, they're spending $19 million, and it's all to keep from getting, it's to maintain the trees and have a beautiful,
Certainly.
well kept, but it's also helps in defending the lawsuits. And we get, now we have it's like 500 million or 500,000 deductible suits, and these verdicts are nuclear. I mean, they're getting massive, big verdicts for something that it wasn't the city's fault, wasn't our fault, but somebody got hurt.
Wow.
And we're trying to work with the League of Cities and pushing with the Joint Power Insurance Authority to get some sort of tort reform. And that's, they've got a thing called the trail law. If a tree falls on a trail, nobody, you can't sue anybody. But tree falls in a city, everybody gets sued. And
So someone needs to figure out how to put more trails in cities, but
Right.
we'll worry about that later.
That's the trick.
But it's interesting. What are the best city trees?
Okay, so
No, seriously.
yeah.
Everybody has a different opinion of what's
tell you
pretty, but
another
probably
story.
jacaranda's not
Yeah.
the top of your list.
So we've been working for Garden Grove for
Right.
probably 40 years.
Right.
And early in the career, we were there. They were taking all the chamois ash trees out. And there was an old guy there and said, this is the third tree that was supposed to be the perfect tree. And they're taking out. Since then, we took out the chamois ash. They planted the ficus tree. It was supposed to be the perfect tree. And there probably is no real perfect tree.
Right.
Moreover, some like a crepe smaller trees, but the bigger trees, I have jacaranda, people either love them or hate them.
Right.
But
If you park under them, you hate them. If you see them on the street where somebody else lives, they're beautiful.
Exactly.
So-
The camper tree,
Yes.
I know Jolene and I just came back from Japan. I know you were there.
yes.
And the camper tree is like this national tree in Japan, and they had 1,000-year-old campers that were just beautiful.
Right.
Downtown Anaheim, Santa Ana has these great street trees full of camphor trees. So,
Yeah.
but that's a great tree.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Garden Grove, as you know, and we had on our street all the parkway trees were jacarandas, and they were big. And one, you can't park under them during flowering season, but also when the winds come, 3 or 4 big branches break and fall. So obviously, when you're monitoring trees, you know which ones you can and cannot, plant for that liability purpose.
For us, everybody thinks in storms we make more money, but really it's like taking the deck of cards and throwing it all over, and you just got to run around trying to do all of that.
Yeah.
But it's also advertisement to say, hey, you've got to trim the trees to keep moving forward.
Right. So a big question now is, what do you do with all the trimmings? What do you do with?
So all of the trimmings. One thing, we started a division called Street Tree Revival.
Yeah.
Here in Anaheim, we have 3 18-acre wood facilities. So the trees that we cut down, we're taking them to the wood facility. We're milling the lumber, and we're making wood slab tables, making furniture, but really we're providing the lumber, making lumber. But 4 years ago, we teamed up with Taylor Guitar, because Taylor Guitar was in trouble. They were cutting down all the trees in the rainforest, and they were in Cameroon, and they're getting a lot of heat for it. But during COVID, all of their wood suppliers got backed up, and they weren't shipping the stuff. So they came to us, and we sampled a bunch of different wood. And earlier I talked about the chamois ash in Garden Grove. Well, the chamois ash was a perfect tone wood for making guitars. So you go to Rolling Stone magazines, all kinds of articles out there. But we started milling the wood for Taylor Guitar, and now in our computer system, if a chamois ash comes up to be removed, we get a text that sends a note to, actually my son John runs Street Tree, but he gets a text that says, hey, we're removing a tree. He'll go online, look at the photo of it, and then call the crew and say, hey, that's the tree for Taylor Guitar.
Oh.
And Taylor Guitar makes about 800 guitars a day, and that's because the necks are made out of I didn't think of the name of it, but out of
some wood.
Yeah.
Got it.
But they can only cut that. There's only so many of them ebony. There's only so many of the ebony trees left. So we're looking at making those out of eucalyptus red iron bark. But they're making 3,500 of these. It's called the Street Tree Guitar, and it's we get about $65 for the wood. They get $3,500 for the guitar, but it's been super popular.
Wow. So I know you have online streettreerevival.com, and it's almost unbelievable to think all of these beautiful trees around us, when they're serviced or when they have to be taken out, you're able to reclaim that wood for a purpose. And
Right.
so guitars, and I know you make that, natural edge,
Live edge.
tables and things like that.
Yeah, we've recently made a table for the city of Anaheim in their conference room upstairs.
Right.
And it's about a 24-foot table. We made a table for Walt Disney, trees that were being end of their life at Disneyland that Walt had planted. They made a table we made a table for their landscape department.
Wow.
It was kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of neat things like that happening. But
Right.
If you go to the Grand California, in their spa, all the wood is recycled from the street trees that were here in Anaheim and put in there. One thing with trees, trees have a life. And the average life is about 50 years. And everybody wants to save all the trees, but what happens, there's some cities that have overly mature populations, which Anaheim's headed that way. Pasadena is definitely overly mature. So, but you need to really trim, we trim, remove, and plant trees, but you need to do about 2% of every year, remove 2% and replant 2% of the population. So Anaheim has 50,000 trees. Every year we're removing probably 500 of them and trying to plant 1,000 of them. Yeah. But otherwise, it's like a family. Your family becomes all old at some point.
Right.
You got to just keep planting new stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Interesting.
No, it is. And again, you're sharing your expertise in actually this evolution of a business that some may think is a simple business, but has expanded and grown and taken on, new direction because of technology and change. I mean, in times past, most of what you're talking about was thrown up in the landfill and, filled that up, and nobody thought any different of it.
Right. Today we repurpose 100% of what we cut out of our waste.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. Most of the brush, the heavy woody parts, get mulched into ground cover.
I see.
We work with a couple bagging plants that actually bag, we produce it, we grind it up, and then it's bagged or colored and going back to the communities. And they're actually, there's laws that you can't take any of that to the landfill anymore.
Right.
It's all got to be recycled.
Right.
And the tree trimming we have is like the top end of the green waste versus grass, and they have all the curbside pickup stuff that they'll mix our stuff with.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it really is fascinating. And I've certainly known you and known your business a long time, but getting a better understanding of what you do and where that business has evolved to is very exciting. So thanks for being with us today, Pat.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Yep.
One of the gentlemen, his name is Bob Healy, came to our conference with a quasi-functional prototype. He had terminal cancer, and Bob came to me and said, "Help me."
Entrepreneur Clay Clark has built several multi-million-dollar businesses. Now, he helps budding entrepreneurs like Bob turbocharge their ideas with a 14-step plan.
And grillblazer.com is now a massively successful company that's becoming a household name in many American homes.
In this episode, we dive into how to rebuild American small businesses and industrial capacity.
You never want to outsource your core competency. We have to import certain technology from countries that hate us to make military weapons to defend us. That doesn't even make sense.
This is American Thought Leaders, and I'm Yanya Kellick.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.
Robert, one of the things that you said on multiple interviews, multiple times, and every time you said it, I thought to myself, have I not been paying attention? Because it felt like new information to me the first time I heard it, which is probably the 50th time I'd heard it. You said octa non verba. And maybe the first time you said it, I was driving while I'm, listening to the podcast while driving. And maybe I was half paying attention, but I octa non verba. And then it was like almost like an angelic moment for me. And I octa non-verba. And once I finally understood what it meant and what you were saying and how it could be used, I think it was life-changing for me and how I approach business. Could you explain acta non-verba, what it means and how our listeners can apply it?
Clay, you gave me goosebumps, man. I'm glad it hit you as hard as it did. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement.
So I'm very much still a student, and it's so helpful to come to the conference because you get to hear other people's questions. And as you're watching these other business owners who have been in it for a little bit longer or a lot bit longer, you're just constantly gaining nuggets like how to hire, maybe how to do bookkeeping better, or like what does it mean to have, a Google search engine and those kinds of things. So it's very helpful to be here in person.
And his book is incredible as well. So Sydney, are you going to take over the business when you get older?
Maybe, it all depends.
Yeah, maybe another entrepreneur. We don't know. But anyways, we are learning so much here today, you guys. Make sure that you check it out at thrivetimeshow.com. This is a business conference with Clay Clark. You're not going to want to miss the next one. We'll be right back. I have Amanda and I have Catherine with me, and they're going to tell us a little bit about kind of what they're getting out of this conference so far. But first, I want to start with what you guys are doing right now.
Sure.
So, Catherine, you were telling me a little bit about your photography business. Tell us exactly what you do.
Sure. So we're a husband and wife team, and then we have a small team of 6 others as well that are just as passionate as we are. We started the business about 8 years ago, and we predominantly do wedding photography.
And where are you guys based out of?
Rancho Upland area, but we're all across Southern California and the States.
Okay, I was going to say, just in case people don't know, that is California. And then what about you, Amanda?
Yes, I own a succulent company. I've taken about 1.5 years off to be a mom, so I'm here reevaluating where my passions are, where my drive is, and getting great insight on organizational skills and hearing from people that are able to help you kind of organize thoughts and find out what it is that you really want to do with your business.
And so far, and by the way, we were talking a lot about being a mom and how that actually teaches you so many skills for business. Yes. And like I was saying before, when they grow up, man, you can go do anything, rule the world. Absolutely. But what are you guys learning so far? I'll start with you. Is there something that really stuck out to you so far in this business conference?
I really liked what the first speaker was talking about as regards to flaky friends and reevaluating who's around you and who you surround yourself with, and if that's going to encourage you to do better and go further.
And it's funny, is Clay Clark actually brought up that scenario, right? Have you ever had your wedding pictures and it takes you 6 months, 3 months to get them back? And if you have flaky employees who are working for you because they're your friend, then those people suffer. It's not just you and your pocketbook, but the people who are waiting to get their photos, they suffer. So that's really important. What have you learned so far?
Well, on that thought, we were discussing that because there's a few people that came up asking about the flaky friends, and I thought, how can that really affect you? And it really is the company you surround yourself with is an extension of your integrity as a business owner. And on that, learning about how to invest in your company and know who the person is that's there to help maintain the outside of your business and the people that are there to help you with the marketing. I mean, you want to know every aspect of your business from the ground up and know those people well and know their families well, because it is a family.
Absolutely. And, like you said, it does affect everything when you have somebody who's flaky. And so your whole business and your clients suffer. And also, I would actually say they suffer as well because people aren't telling them, hey, that's not how we do work here. You can't be flaky and get a paycheck. Okay. So sometimes you need some harsh love. I know as Christians, that's hard for us sometimes, but you do need that harsh love. So we are learning so much. I am loving it so far. Are you guys loving it?
We are loving it.
We are loving it. Yes, absolutely.
Great speakers. They're keeping us pumped up. They're hilarious. Clay Clark with all of his shenanigans. I love it. Michael Levine, who we're going to get in a second. He said some funny things. So they're keeping it fresh. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be right back.
Without a vision, discipline feels like punishment. But with a vision, discipline feels like alignment. The hard things start to feel like the right things because they are building something.
I know many of you have had a challenging year. Many of you watching this have a successful company. Many of you have a business that has struggled. Maybe you've had a business that you've just, for whatever reason, have never been able to get over the hump. Maybe you've always been just kind of stuck in a rut, and that's become your normal. Maybe you went from the goal you used to have a goal to thrive, and now your goal is just to survive. Well, to build your faith and to build your encouragement that you have the mental capacity and the tenacity needed to succeed, I thought I would get one of our younger success stories on the Thrivetime show so you could talk to an entrepreneur who I don't believe is yet 30 years old, but yet is still achieving massive success. Stephanie, welcome on to the Thrivetime show. How are you?
Good, Clay. Thank you.
So, Stephanie, where's home for you?
I live in rural western Wisconsin, so Sparta, Wisconsin.
And how did you originally hear about the Thrivetime show business consulting program?
I heard about you guys actually through Entrepreneurs on Fire. You did an interview with JD over there.
And do you remember the when you where you were when you first heard that show?
I was cleaning a house, actually.
Really, you're cleaning a house in Wisconsin, and from the time that
I remember the exact house. Yep.
So from the time that you decided to get up the courage needed to schedule a call until now, how much have you grown?
Since then, let's see, 1,462%.
1,462%. And
Yes.
what kind of a time frame has that been from the time that you reached out to now?
Yep. I reached out. We started working together in March of 2020. It is end of October 2021. So, year and a half.
Wow. Okay. So we've done a lot together, and many things you've done very, very well. And so what I thought I'd do on today's show is I'm going to bring up the things that you've been able to implement that we've taught you. And I'd love to get your take on how you've been able to implement these. So I'm going to go through 10 core systems that I believe you've been able to implement well, and I'd like to get your take on it. First off, you were not resistant to the idea of upgrading your branding. You were not resistant to the idea of upgrading your website, print pieces. You actually leaned in and you wanted to get it done and get it done quickly. Talk to the listeners out there about how having an upgraded website has helped you.
Yeah, the just overwhelming professionalism that people get from visiting our website just really blows them away to make them realize that we are professional and that we stand apart from everybody else in the area. So the website was key. I also think one thing that a lot of clients probably get stuck on is being too nitpicky about things and just wanting it perfect as opposed to wanting it done. So I think the biggest thing is get it done. We can always change things later, but it's better to have an awesome website than a perfect website right now,
Yeah, now step two, we optimized your website. A lot of people have great websites that look wonderful, but they're not canonically compliant. They're not indexable. They're not searchable. So therefore humans on the planet Earth who are using search engines can't find them. You didn't push back. You leaned into it. Talk to the listeners out there about how optimizing your website has helped increase your leads.
Oh, definitely. So Google leads are huge for us, and people finding our website are huge. So writing the content articles, making sure those keywords are showing up there. So we're showing up when people search, house cleaning or whatever they're searching, whatever search terms we're trying to show up for. So that's huge. And of course, the review side of things is huge too for pointing people towards our website.
Okay, you jumped ahead on my little cheat sheet here, but step three is gathering objective reviews. You guys have done a great job of gathering objective reviews from your happy clients. Talk to the listeners out there about the importance of gathering objective Google reviews from your happy clients.
Oh, it's so important. Like when I started working with Thrive, I definitely didn't think like I needed to focus on that. I think I had 12 Google reviews when we started working together. And now between the two locations, we have, I think, like 210 or something like that, like 5-star reviews, all real. And when people find us, I mean, it's not even how much do you cost, it's when can you come? I don't care how much you cost. So people are ready to close like that.
Now, step 4 is building a transparent and easy to understand sales system. You know, a pricing structure where somebody who maybe is not the most complicated individual, somebody who's very simple like me could understand your pricing real quickly. Again, you've leaned in on that. You've been great to work with. Talk to the listeners about the importance of having a simple to understand pricing structure that your ideal and likely buyer can understand immediately.
You just want them to not be confused or like, why is this like this or whatever. And also from the like inside perspective of the managers or whoever is answering your phones, they need to be able to quickly, answer questions and stuff without having a lot of training. So it needs to be able to be, in like the sales script when they're doing a call, that they can just very quickly know what the numbers are and not have to be complex about it.
Now, step 5 is implementing sales scripting. You have done a great job of implementing sales scripting, and so many entrepreneurs, I'm telling you, they say, I don't want to do a script because I don't want to sound like I'm reading a script. I don't want my staff to be sounding like they're reading. I want my team to have their own personality. I want them to embrace their true selves. And therefore, when their phone rings at their local business, every time their phone rings, it's just like a minefield. You never know if the phone's going to be answered professionally, if it'll be answered at all. You never know what people are going to say. Nothing's written down. It becomes a verbal tribal tradition. It becomes a celebration of jackassery. Tell the listeners out there, why have you embraced sales scripting and how has it helped your company?
Sales scripts are amazing, as well as, of course, the call recording so that we can hold people accountable to the sales script. But it just takes all the guesswork, and then all of the variables of what people say are removed so that if, something's not working, we're able to pinpoint what that is and tweak one thing as opposed to like whatever the people are deciding to say. So, and it also like, it flows really nicely and it doesn't sound robotic at all. Once you get used to it, it's like I could say it off the top of my head, the exact scripts we use, and we know they close, and that way we know it works instead of just people doing whatever they feel like.
Now, you also implemented a quality control checklist system where basically it's not in people's minds. They don't have to remember. Your technicians don't have to remember what they're supposed to do. There's a checklist for everything. I mean, everything. When you go in to clean a home or a commercial business, there's a checklist for everything. Talk to the listeners out there about the mind freedom that you've experienced since, taking it out of your head and putting it on a checklist.
Yeah, it just makes it so simple because it's like, here's the standard the cleaning tech is responsible for and is going to be held accountable to. And if that's not hit, then we know that there's a problem. They don't get to say like, well, I didn't know. They don't get to say, I didn't know. And then on the client side, they have expectations set. Instead of them setting the expectation, we are setting the expectation, as opposed to them being like, well, I thought you guys were going to clean my gutters. It's like, well, it ain't on the checklist, so we're not going to clean your gutters,
Now, knowing and optimizing your numbers in terms of the financial aspects of the company, again, you've leaned into that. Yeah, a lot of people who are into fitness, I find lean into that. They want to know, how much they weigh, what their body fat percentage is, how many calories they're eating. People that don't want to lean into fitness, don't want to know how many calories they're eating, don't want to know their body fat percentage. People that are into artwork and doing well at art, musicians. I've worked with a lot of musicians. The musicians that are good want to know how they sound. They want to hear themselves. People that are not good don't want to hear themselves. Great ballet dancers and performers want to see themselves in a mirror. They want to analyze. Great builders want to see checklists and processes and blueprints. Accountants who are good at their job, they want to know the numbers. Entrepreneurs who are not good at entrepreneurship never want to know their numbers. Talk to the listeners out there about the importance of knowing and optimizing your numbers, actually knowing how much profit you're going to make per job.
Yeah, I would say number one most important thing, in my opinion, is the tracking sheet that we implement together. And that, every single day I'm in the tracking sheet and knowing like exactly where my business is, especially now I'm very removed from the day-to-day kind of operations to a point. I'm not answering the phones. I'm not doing this. I'm not like seeing the complaints or any quality issues or whatever. But I have, my finger on the pulse of my business and every single aspect of the, revenue, expenses, leads, closing rates, number of appointments, number of reviews, number of photos that are getting uploaded, like just everything you could possibly know about the business, I know. So I'm never questioning or going off of emotion, because that's not what we want to do. We want to go off of facts and numbers. And so I know that, we're growing or whatever, we're closing, et cetera, because the numbers don't lie. So I love the tracking sheet. And I think it's the number one thing that people should implement. If they don't do nothing else, they need to know their numbers.
Now, you've attended a multiple in-person 2-day interactive business workshops. And the reason why we include that is a quasi-free service. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's not a revenue generator for me. If you're a client of mine, I say, hey, you can come to these events. We make it very, very affordable. If you're not a client, you can pay $250 to attend the workshop. And if you're in a tight spot, we have scholarship tickets available. But the point is, everybody can afford to attend. Can you explain how the interactive business workshops have actually helped you to maybe further understand the path, or to get a whole picture view of the actual business plan?
Yeah, I love the conferences, because I always walk away with action items, even though like I go over these things with my coach every week. I always walk away with something like, wow, I did like a fresh perspective on things, because you're interacting with a lot of other business owners and like bouncing ideas off of each other and hearing what worked for them or what people are struggling with. And of course, then like having you like explain it in the way that you do, it just makes it very like actionable. Like I always go away with like, this is what I need to do on Monday to make these things happen. It's not just like this motivational thing.
Do you laugh a little bit? Do you have a little bit of fun?
I do. I have a lot of fun at the conferences.
Okay. And what kind of people attend the conferences?
Not liberals.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah, no, it seems like all we start at 7 a.m. and it seems like, the entrepreneurs are like, this is awesome. We start at 7. I can be done by 3. I can still make some calls. Again, you're sitting next to people that have had massive success, people that have been in the program for years. Yeah. Is that helpful to sit next to other people that have actually had success?
I can't even, like, the people I've met there have been they've changed my life. Like, obviously you guys have all changed my life. Literally. I'm not just, blowing smoke here. But meeting the people, the Josh Wilsons of the world, who I literally texted him today. Like, we're on a friend basis. We have calls all the time. Like, just the people that I've met is just, is life-changing.
Now, what is your website if people right now want to go online and they want to look up your website and kind of, see who you are, what you're all about?
Yeah, it is www.serene-clean.com.
And okay, so you came to the workshop, you've implemented the tracking sheet, the group interview. People say, it's so hard to find people. I've never had a hard time finding people. Even right now, I don't have a hard time finding people, but I can tell you it's a system that I've applied. It's a proven system, a proven process that I've done. I've been doing this process of hiring people. This marks, I know it's crazy, 22 years of doing the same system every week, interviewing people. 22 years I've been doing this. I'm a 40-year-old person. I've been doing the group interview for 22 years. Can you talk about the importance of doing the group interview and how it's changed your business?
Oh, it's so important. Like that has been, I would say that's a big game changer too, because I always have candidates like ready to go when something happens. And, in the past 2 months, we've taken on a huge contract and I have hired probably 40 people. And somebody quit today, somebody quit yesterday. Yeah. I fired somebody 3 days ago. It doesn't matter. Next, so it's amazing.
And just a little context. Just so you know, things that will get you fired if you're out there and you don't know about serene-clean.com. If you're not on time, if you don't honor your commitments to the client, you're going to get fired. And there are certain people on the planet Earth that don't want to honor their commitments to their client, and they don't want to show up on time, and therefore you're not a good fit for Serene Clean. So she's not running around just randomly firing people. She's just saying, if you have a certain standard and expectation, and on behalf of the customer, because you're a customer advocate, you're saying, this is the standard we have to deliver at. Now, next thing, step number 11 here, you pay yourself well and you don't apologize for it. Now, could be said that you actually make more money now per month than many people make per year. And I repeat that you make now more money per month than many people now make per year. And you've learned to pay yourself well and not apologize for it. But I knew you, going back to when you first called us, to where, you were really grinding to make it work. and now you're doing really well. Now that you're paying yourself well and not apologizing for it, are you able to enjoy more time freedom to work out, to read, to spend time with family, friends, to think more meta on your business, or how has that impacted you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Not having to worry about income is really empowering, and also, of course, that just allows you to do a lot of good in the world. Because number one, we're here to make money, but money is just a tool, and so that allows us to, help the community, help our families, buy cool stuff, of course. But the time freedom is really, that's the whole point of this for me. Is like, I don't want to have to be anywhere I don't want to be at any given time. So, and now I can do that.
Now, final thing is you've been able to sustain diligence and accountability. What does that mean? Diligence is where it's the steady application of effort over time. It's like long after the motivation, the big idea wears off. There's always the excitement of a new idea. Woo! New idea. Yes, new idea. Love the new idea. Just had a new idea. I should buy a boat. I should start a company. It should be called Serene Clean. Well, long after that idea has worn off, then diligence kicks in. And diligence is the steady application of effort. If you're out there and you've ever played sports at a high level, you've ever been a top-notch speaker, you've ever been a top musician, anybody who's out there who's done anything at a high level, the level of preparation is what prepares you for the ovations. Again, the preparation is what prepares you for the ovations. And then, but everybody out there, if you have a sound mind and you're being honest, you need a little bit of accountability. We all need accountability. Somebody that can hold us accountable to push through goals, push through obstacles that may at that time seem insurmountable. Sometimes it's like, it seems overwhelming. How has the weekly meeting and the accountability helped you to stay diligent and consistent over time?
Yeah, I love that my coach definitely holds me, because everybody needs to be held accountable no matter how high achieving you think you are. And obviously, the pig-headed discipline is awesome to have that, but you still need somebody to hold you accountable. And for me, there's certain things, there's always some place that you can do better and improve on. And so what my coach Bloomer, he always, it's like, okay, it's been 2 weeks now, you haven't gotten a video review. What's going on? And it's like, I don't like getting video reviews. He's calling me out on it. I love that, because I hate it, but I love it. And because we need to be told where we're failing. I mean, they're telling us where we're good, but we need to be told where we're failing.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, again, you are a diligent woman who's reached out. We only take on 160 clients. I think you certainly occupy one of those spaces well. And what's interesting is, last year our average client grew by 104%, and we didn't have any client that grew by over 500%. So 1,462% is certainly going to impact that average. What advice would you have for anybody out there listening who's contemplating going to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire to schedule a consultation? Because again, if people want to schedule a free consultation with me, I don't charge for that. We do have call screeners. They're going to make sure I'm not wasting your time and you're not wasting my time to see if you're a good fit. But there's people out there contemplating going to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire.com. That's thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire.com. What advice would you have or feedback would you have for somebody thinking about attending one of our in-person workshops or scheduling a one-on-one consultation?
I think that most people should definitely go to the conference, but when it comes to the one-on-one coaching, I think you really need to look at yourself and say, am I ready to maybe be told to do things that I'm not comfortable with, and am I ready to do it? Because you can always hem and haw and go back and forth, but if you're not ready to implement anything, it's probably not a good fit, because your coaches are going to push you, and that's the whole point. You're paying them to push you. So if you're not ready and willing to make changes, then don't bother.
I tell you what, I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. I'm so excited about your growth there, and hopefully we'll see you in December. Are you coming in December to the conference?
Not with this big job. I'm on a military base. I'm on a military base right now. So
I'm rejected. Okay, that's fine. But maybe we'll see you at the next one. Okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Clay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I own Serene Clean, and this is my grandma Sue. And we are gonna briefly just go over the Dream 100 drop-offs that she does for Serene Clean and how it has really helped grow our business and spread the word of our business in our area. So just a little background on Serene Clean and working with Thrive Coaching. So I've used Thrive out of Oklahoma for 2 years this month. And when we started working with Thrive, we were at about $200,000 in revenue a year. And this year we're projected to do 1.4 million in revenue a year. So it's grown very, very drastically since we've implemented all of the systems. And that's what we're going to talk about today is one of the systems that they have encouraged and harassed us to use, and it works really good, and that's Dream 100 drop-offs. And that's something that my grandma Sue does for me, and she is absolutely killing it. So Grandma, basically, if you can just describe what it is that you do at these drop-offs. What do you do?
When I get there, of course, I introduce myself and the business, and I just tell them that I am a business-to-business call. I'm not there to sell them anything. I'm just there to introduce them to a new business in our area.
Mm-hmm. And what do you bring and leave with them?
I actually have a little gift for them, and then a sweet treat, and I have the paperwork that explains all about Serene Clean. And as I'm talking to them, I try to give a little bit of talk about things that would encourage them, makes it a little more relaxed and casual. And then I do sign my name on all the things, so I tell them that they can't forget me, and put a little smiley face with it, and leave them as I go. Then I say, and here's a sweet treat to get you through the day.
So basically she just goes, gets a box of donuts, hits all her stops for the day, and what she's leaving behind is basically a sales sheet that explains what makes Serene Clean different, and on the back of it is commercial references of companies that we already cleaned for. So the whole purpose of this is to get us more janitorial accounts, because those are excellent accounts for us. And what the thing she's also asking is, how do they clean now? And are they using a service now? How happy are they with it? Is there any issues? And who are you usually talking to? Are you talking to the receptionist? Who are you talking to?
It's kind of split. A lot of the businesses I've been to recently, I've actually talked to the owners. If it's a large business, I'll be talking to the lady or person, it's usually a girl, at the front desk. And I ask her, sometimes they don't know or they don't tell me. And sometimes they do know, so it just works out really well to find out from them, do they have a cleaner? And a lot of them that I talk to the owners, they actually are doing a lot of the cleaning themselves. So it just gives me a little heads up too of what they're doing, and then I pass it on to Steph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then at the end of her stop, she types up a little synopsis of who she talked to, what was the reaction, things like that, and, is there room, because really the goal of her doing this is to get the foot in the door for me to do a walkthrough and bid an account. That is the whole purpose of this, and overall, how would you say the reaction is?
It's been really well. You don't know, but I get excited when it's a great day and the sun is shining, and sometimes it's snowing, but whatever, when I have a great day and everybody's just happy to see me, it just makes it a fun thing to know them. And I've been from the area for a long time, so a lot of times I see old friends also while I'm out.
Yeah, this has worked really well for Grandma in particular, because it's just coming from a very not salesy place at all. It's not, they're not trying to sell. She's just trying to introduce them, and it's very, a lot of people are just so turned off by, very hard selling. And so it's just one, getting them with the donuts, nobody will turn that down. And then really it's just, a very friendly thing. And this is a long game thing. Almost never is it the first stop that they're gonna, have us do a walkthrough. A lot of times that sheet will sit on a desk for a long time, and then when they're ready to go, they're either pissed off about their current service or they're just overwhelmed doing it themselves. Who was that, lady who dropped off the donuts? Where is that sheet? Serene Clean. And then it's top of mind, and it's just really impressive. And so kind of the highlight of her doing this, she's done this. How long have you been doing this, did you say?
8 months.
8 months. She got me a walkthrough at a very large manufacturing facility who is a dream client. It's daytime commercial, Monday through Friday. An amazing account, who I would wildly want. And she got me a walkthrough, and we ended up winning the bid and have been cleaning for them for 2 weeks now. And that's a $5,000 a month account. So it's significantly impactful. And again, this is long game thinking of, she's making these introductions, and, we've gotten plenty of smaller accounts as well from her doing these things. And, just being consistent, that's the biggest thing is, you do this every week, right?
Right.
Every single week, unless we have a significant snowstorm, every week. And it's fairly, inexpensive from for us, we always do the donuts. I've tried other things, but the donuts just seem to be a hit. And yeah, I just know a lot of people are hesitant to do this, but if we can do this in a small town and to have that kind of success rate, and we just want to be top of mind, and it's working and it's growing the business really, really well, and it's just fun to work with Grandma. So so that is how we do Dream 100, and it's working great, and we just say go do it, don't be scared, just make yourself do it, basically. And for me, I don't like to do it, but I knew Grandma would be great at it, and so this is one of those things of delegating and outsourcing if you don't want to do it. But if you don't have somebody to do it, you need to do it, because if you don't, your business will just not grow the way you want. That is how we handle this. So thanks, Grandma.
My name is Elizabeth Walker. I own a business, Nook and Cranny Homekeeping LLC. I was looking to learn pretty much anything there is to learn about business. I'm a new business owner, less than a year. So I really needed to know everything about everything. I have learned how to implement systems, from hiring to the actual day-to-day systems in the company. I like that the workshop gave tangible systems, but it was very entertaining and interactive. Clay's presentation style was energetic, it was exciting, and it gave me hope that there's actually a lot of success still to be done in my business. The atmosphere was energizing, invigorating, nothing boring about it. It was absolutely exciting. Maybe that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that this can be simple, and I think that's what they're missing out on. My name is Elizabeth Walker. I'm the owner of Nook and Cranny Homekeeping. I first heard about Clay on the radio on 1170 KFAQ. I was just switching through the radio stations and I heard them talking and they were kind of funny, so I hung around a little bit. Clay's team has impacted my amount of internet leads through Google, and we just have people calling us almost every single day saying they found us on Google. So it's definitely broadened our horizons and our clientele, but we also have people that find us in other avenues, and I always direct them to our Google reviews. The typical interaction during our weekly meetings is fun, it is accountability, it's an hour of hard discussions and a lot of learning. We try to laugh. I always share concerns I had during the week. The team always asks me what I need help with, and then they help put me back on track where I need to be. Every business owner needs Clay Clark and his team because they put a path out in front of you, a proven system of success, and then they coach you along the way. They don't do it for you. They don't hold your hand. They just stand right beside you. They cheer you on. They share with you what you need to hear, whether it's good or it's bad or it's what you want to hear or it's what you don't want to hear. Every business owner needs that accountability next to them, that proven person next to them that can keep them going. Most people think that they don't need a business or marketing consultant because human nature tends to say we can do it all, and sometimes we believe that, or maybe people are prideful and they don't want to ask for help, or I'm not really sure. I believe that one of the smartest things I've ever done in my whole life, definitely in my business, is hiring Clay Clark and his team. Somebody is missing out on years and years and years of experience if they don't hire them. You can either make mistakes in your business because you don't have the experience, so you just go out there and you make mistakes. Or you can have somebody next to you that has been there, they've done that, and they can give you a heads up, you're going in the wrong direction, or they can give you just that wise advice that says, maybe you should go in this direction. That's what they're missing out on. They're missing out on years of experience that they have not gleaned themselves.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week, it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. I have successfully gained our second largest commercial client, and this was during COVID. So again, I started working with Luke and Clay in February, and then COVID hit in was mid-March or so. So for the entire month of April, we were shut down residential, April and May, I believe. And so despite that, and again, being a new business and all this stuff, I mean, we came out of COVID like stronger than ever, and now hitting our highest numbers in the history of the company. Just leads just piling in, and the beauty is when people call us, they're already sold because of our Google reviews, our online presence, the no-brainer offer that we now give to our clients, which is, you know, if they book their second appointment within a month of the first, they get 50% off. And again, they're just ready to book. I hardly have to do any work, it feels like sometimes, to actually book people. So that's amazing. Every week I meet with Luke, and it's awesome. Obviously, I'm in Wisconsin, he's in Oklahoma, but we have a great time. I know I can text him at any time, call him at any time with any issues I'm having, especially when COVID did hit. They were so helpful in helping me get the PPP grants and everything settled away there, and really pushed me to make sure I was on the ball and getting all of the grants that I was possibly able to, which was amazing. So they've just been such a wealth of information, and when I'm freaking out because, you know, a burning fire is happening, Luke's there to calm me down and, you know, back me off the cliff edge. And it's just awesome to have him, you know, as a resource there. So every week we meet and we have a big tracking sheet. So we track all my leads, we track my numbers, where the leads are coming from, any complaints. I love my tracking sheet. I know it's probably a little extra, but I love it because I can see everything that's actually happening in my business. And this is so important because it's not like I'm just saying, well, I feel like it's busier. I know if it's busier, and I know, are we making a profit every week? Why or why not? It's just amazing. And then I'm tracking my Google reviews, tracking my competitors' Google reviews, and Luke is always pushing me to get more reviews, even though, you know, I was not very comfortable with that at first. It felt just pushy, but now I'm seeing the effects of having a lot of Google reviews, you know, a lot to me at least. It's not very high compared to others, but people are finding us on Google and they're already ready to book because of our reviews. So, you know, going for those reviews has been so integral in having basically easy sell leads. So tracking has been just so vital, and I really enjoy it, actually. So anybody who is skeptical about working with Clay or Luke, you know, the whole team at Thrivetime, I was definitely skeptical, and to me, again, new business, it seemed like a lot of money, but in comparison to other business coaches, especially like specific to the cleaning industry like I'm in, I mean, you're talking like $10,000 a month, and honestly, I feel like I get like that much value out of Luke just my meeting with him once a week. It's amazing. And it has just transformed my business in every single aspect. I mean, I always, aspired to be a successful business owner. And now, I mean, it's not even a question that this business is going to be successful, even if a pandemic happens and you have to shut down. I mean, if I can make it through that and directly because of them, it is absolutely because of them. Obviously, I'm a hard worker, blah, 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 all that. And, I was made to be an entrepreneur. However, having them as like the guiding light of this is what you need to do, and it's very straightforward, doesn't mean it's easy, but it is very straightforward of what needs to be done. And I like that. I like having that step-by-step process, and I love having the accountability, because there's a lot of stuff that they have me do that I don't want to do. It's not fun, but it works. And that, having that discipline to just do the things week after week, regardless if it's dull or boring or you don't want to do it, Luke really pushes me to do those things, which I love. I mean, I hate it at the time, but I love it because I can see how it's affecting my business in a positive way. And, I don't want to be just good. I want to be the best. And I see them as an integral part of that. And I will not be the best if I don't have them with me. So I love having them on my team, and it just feels like the best decision I ever made in my business. And I know I'm still really small and things like that, but there's a reason I reached out to them when I was small, because I want to be big and I want to not grow and then collapse because I grew too quickly without the correct systems in place. So it's been amazing, and I would suggest anybody who's willing to put in the work and do things that make you uncomfortable, reach out to them. But if you are not willing to change the way you are doing things, if you're not willing to implement a no-brainer, if you're not willing to ask for Google reviews, if you're not willing to write content, really, really boring content for your website so the Google bots find you, then don't reach out. You need to be willing to put in the work as well. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous, just do what they say because it'll work. People, when they look at my business, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, things just happen for me. And, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, perseverance and, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute, because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have an opportunity to celebrate a client who's what we call a diligent doer, somebody that doesn't just want to know what to do, but somebody who wants to apply what they're learning. We call this person not an ask hole. An ask hole is somebody who asks a question but doesn't want to actually implement what they're learning, because we know here that vision without execution is hallucination, to quote Thomas Edison. Vision without execution is hallucination. We know that knowledge without application is meaningless, to quote Napoleon Hill. Knowledge without application is meaningless, to quote Napoleon Hill. And I'm fired up for you to hear the story about today's guest. Tavis, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Hi. Oh, we are doing amazing, doing rocking and rolling. So
I got to ask you, for people that want to go to your website, what's the web address we need to go to verify you're not a hologram?
FullArmorWindowsDoors.com.
FullArmorWindowsDoors.com. I'm pulling that up right now. And what do you guys do? What are the services that you guys provide?
Well, we started windows and doors. We have our own in-house installers, but actually started doing a little break into roofing, siding, and now we're kind of looking at some other options too to expand our full list of services. So,
now,
yeah, but right now we're rocking.
How did you guys first come in contact with us? I know you guys service Nebraska and Iowa. How did you first come in contact with us?
Your show is how we found you, and then reached out to you and haven't looked back.
How long have we had the opportunity to work with you guys?
Since 2021 is when we started, just beginning of the year.
My understanding is you're having a record sales month. Is that accurate, or is that hyperbole?
No, that is accurate. We had 1 week where we hit 184,000, and that was 1 week. So every week past that, that month we hit, I think it was around 250 in the month, and one sale alone was 115.
Wow. So for people out there that are kind of discouraged or doubtful, I talked to a guy this week. True story. I go to church with this guy. And he came to our business workshop because his pastor told him to. His pastor said, "You need to go." He said, look, I am your pastor of your church, and I go there. You should go. You should look into it. How would you describe what the coaching experience has been like for you, for people out there that are on the outside kind of looking in?
I meet with Andrew every week. We kind of go, we have an agenda. We start with our normal, just going through the metrics. What did we sell? What's our what do we have outstanding? How many leads did we get in, and where did those leads come from? And then did we do what we were supposed to do in terms of metrics? And then from there we have an agenda. Did we write our content? Did we do all the tasks assigned to us for the week? And then we just kind of review, and then after that, then we kind of see what our hangups are, and if I'm having trouble with something, then we kind of work through that.
How would you describe who your ideal and likely buyer is? Like if someone's listening right now, who could buy products or services from you guys?
Any residential homeowner. So anyone that owns a home. So for windows, doors, roofing, if you own it, we can help you.
Anywhere in the United States?
We're pretty much right now in Nebraska. We do a little in Iowa as well. So, but that's kind of our main service right now. But at the same time, we're gonna, probably look into some other options as well.
Now, I'm
other towns.
This up here because I want people to understand the totality of what we do or don't do. What I found is early on as a young guy in business, I reached out to a business consultant, and I'm not going to mention the guy's last name or his name of his company, but his first name was Bruce. And Bruce, God bless him. I was, 18, 19 years old. And I said, Bruce, I need to grow my company, djconnection.com. I don't know how to grow it. I'm stuck. I'm working 3 jobs, Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. Could you help me grow my business? And Bruce says, oh yeah. And Bruce used to say, he was kind of East Coast guy. And he'd say, oh yeah, baby, I can help you. Oh yeah. And then we would meet. He'd say, Clay, you just got to work on your business, not in your business. You got to work on your business, not just in it, but you got to work on it. And these things were helpful, but he never really walked me through specific moves that I needed to actually do. So it was very theoretical, but not necessarily practical. So I want to get into the practical here, into the tactical, the practical. So as we look at my book here called A Millionaire's Guide How to Become Sustainably Rich, box 1, we got to establish our revenue goals. And I'm not asking you for what your revenue goals are, but does your organization have your revenue goals clearly determined?
Yeah, absolutely. And Andrew's been helping us define all those as well.
Now, the second box, you have to know the break-even numbers. I mean, you could be excited. I could be excited, but I just had a conversation with my wife about one of our businesses and what the break-even number is. And it's very important that everybody out there knows the break-even number if you have a business. Do you feel good about the break-even number?
I do. We've been able to offset some things too to help make that a little bit lower, to help make everything profitable. But really at the same time, that's where our we really had no idea what it was when we first started. We're like, well, I guess it makes sense that we have that, and it really does, and it's given us a benchmark to start, and then after that, then it's just celebration after that too. So
now this is my schedule. And this is a typical week for me. And I block out my time into half-hour blocks. And that's what I do, so I wasn't shocked that we were going to interview you today, nor were you shocked that I was going to interview you. And so the time blocking is a critical thing. But most people, the average American, does not time block. In fact, Nielsen right now, Nielsen reports, this is a real thing, I'm not making this up. Nielsen now reports the average American now spends 11.3 hours per day distracted by media. 11.3 hours a day. What? 11.3 hours per day.
Wow.
Distracted by media. So I know Andrew has worked with you guys on building a sustainable schedule. Do you have clarity now as far as how many hours a week you're going to work and what you're going to be doing during those hours?
Absolutely. And actually, that was a huge game changer, just having that all spelt out and time blocked and to-do lists, all of it. I used to have stickies everywhere, and sometimes I still use it as memory, but my desk was covered, and putting it into to-do list and start blocking it, and then it's been easy ever since. Now, it is the biggest game changer.
Now, box number 4 is determining your unique value proposition. So if you had to describe what you guys do at Full Armor that separates you from the pack, what would that be?
It's a lot of it's our in-house installers, but we were just talking about this with the group. It's our attention to detail and quality, where we hear stuff around where people are slapping windows in and leaving, and where, a lot of our feedback comes from hey, these guys take that extra mile just to make sure things are done right and they look nice. So we hear it a lot, and to me, that's what really separates us.
Now, branding, I know working with you, that's something that a lot of people get excited about. However, I will tell you, folks, that's an event, not necessarily a process. That's where you make your website look first class. That's where you work on your website to make it look great. That's where you work on your logo, your print pieces, your videos. You're optimizing the branding, and branding is what people see. So branding is the opinion that somebody has, or the reaction somebody has when they first think about your product or service. And on part 2 of today's show, I'm going to do a deep dive with Michael Levine, the world's most celebrated public relations person of all time. He'll be on part 2 of today's show. This was the PR guy, the branding guy for Nike, for this real story, for Charlton Heston, for George Carlin, the comedian. This is the branding person of choice for, at the same time, he represented both Bill Clinton and George Bush. Wow. This guy, this is Michael Levine. And for people there that don't know who Michael Levine is, again, I'm going to pull it up. This is like the world's top PR guy, and we're going to do a deep dive into it. He's written books about it. He's been celebrated for doing it. He was the PR consultant for Prince and for Michael Jackson at the same time. He's been written about in Variety, Forbes, New York Times, and you can write whole books about it, and he has. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure your branding looks first class. And at fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, you guys have done that. Can you talk about the branding and how much that's impacted your business?
Well, got one right here on already. So it's recognizable. Everyone knows our logo now. Even just the simple things of wrapping the trucks, wrapping our trailers, having it on the website. Like, people are recognizing us. They're like, oh, we've had installers come in before. Like, I've seen you around town and had to check you out. So, and it's been great because now people just anywhere are like, oh yeah, I've seen you around and things like that. So it's been huge and been a great help.
Now, for folks that don't know this, we charge a flat fee of $1,700 a month. We charge $1,700 per month. And then my goal with all my clients is to enter into what I call a non-equity partnership. So a lot of my clients, when you come to conferences, you'll discover I've worked with clients for 7 years, or wow, this guy's, Clay, you've worked with the same client for 12 years. One of my clients, I've actually worked with this client for 15 consecutive years. And so people, when they come to a conference, they feel like they're part of a family. And again, we charge $1,700 a month. It's a flat rate. And with those non-equity growth partners, we get a small percentage of the growth. And that's something we could talk about later. But how has it been for you guys, knowing that all of this, the implementation of all this, graphic design, photography, video, web, search engine, everything is all fitting into that $1,700 flat monthly set it and forget it price?
there's so much that you guys do for that price, and along with it, then we're just growing constantly. I mean, even just a short amount of time we've been on, you probably already heard the phone ring a handful of times already. So, I mean, it's all just been amazing, amazing, and everything like that. So.
Now, for the sake of
Absolutely.
time, I want to totally respect your time today, but I also want people to know we help you with your sales conversion process, the scripts, the recorded calls, the one sheets, the pre-written emails, helping you determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs, building checklists and processes for everything, whether it be onboarding a new hire, whether it be installing something. We got to build checklists and systems for everything. Then we have to teach management systems, how to manage employees, which would work off of the idea that we also help finding employees. So many business owners today say they can't find employees, let alone manage them. This is all of the things that we do. We help you learn how to hire, inspire, train, and retain top quality people. But I want to get your thoughts on this, and I want to respect your time. For people out there that are thinking about going to thrivetimeshow.com and scheduling a consultation, it's a free consultation. It's a free 13-point assessment. What would you say to anybody out there thinking about it?
I would say, why are you still thinking about it? I'd say giving a call, because I mean, proof's in the pudding, so we've been doing great. And I mean, there's no sense in hesitating at this point. I've listened to the show. I've been a partner for how long? Since 21. Everything is knowledge, and there's no reason to be holding back and not making that call. Absolutely.
And how much has the coaching, how much have you grown since we started working with you, as far as a percentage, if you had to factor in a percentage or maybe some sort of stat in terms of growth? Because obviously this week, I have the notes pulled up here, this week we're celebrating, and this is so important for people to know this. You should look this up, folks. We're celebrating the best sales week ever, $186,243 of sales. How much have you grown since we started working with you?
We're 100 and probably 35 to 45% growth.
Wow. And again, you're a real person, real business. I'm going to pull up the website one more time, folks, so you can see it. And if you're out there today and you're discouraged or you feel like you don't have what it takes to do it, folks, we have a proven plan. Everybody, you can implement the proven plan. We have in-person workshops you can come to. We have one-on-one coaching. If you go to fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, you can see a recent testimonial with today's guest. But if you want to see thousands, some people like to go up here and just watch these until their head explodes. I talked to a guy this weekend, and he told me, he said, Clay, I have watched, I think, all of the testimonials. I said, you have? And he says, oh, yeah. And I said, that's incredible. Wow. And he said, I went through, I scrolled down, and I hit play, and they were great. And I said, did you click the button where it says see thousands of additional testimonials? And he said, there's more? And I said, well, yeah, we have over 2,000 and we enumerate them. So we actually know this is a verifiable fact. We don't have, hundreds. I mean, we have thousands of video testimonials, and that works for our business because we document the success, but it also works for your business. Could you share how, in closing, how has gathering objective reviews via video and Google, how has that impacted and improved or changed your sales process? Because again, somebody out there today, they're looking on the outside going, I just don't see that I could ever grow my business like that. How has gathering objective Google reviews, video reviews, and building that gallery impacted fullarmorwindowsdoors.com?
Well, the easy answer is we've grown 135%. So there's that. But we could tell a huge difference from the moment we started getting more of those reviews. We had a jump initially that we jumped like 40 reviews in like a week or so. And all of a sudden that phone started ringing like constantly. It boosted us. Similar with the video testimonials, people that go to our website are like, well, you guys are doing something right. You got all these people that are even just talking about you on video. So it adds a trust layer to any potential customers out there for sure.
And again, that domain, it's a little bit of a tricky domain for people that are looking at it for the first time. Just to be clear, it's fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, fullarmorwindowsdoors.com. And I'll sneak in one final question. I think a lot of people will reach out to me and they say, Clay, what's the most important thing you do to grow businesses? And some people want to hone in on marketing. Some want to hone in on accounting. some want to hone in on hiring, some want to hone in on sales. Let me try again. There's four different, how I look at it is there's four major boxes. Some people want to hone in on marketing, some want to hone in on sales, some want to hone in on hiring, some want to hone in on accounting. I would argue it's all of those all of those areas, all 14 areas of the business growth path are needed to achieve success, not just one. I'd love to get your reaction to that as a longtime client who's having success, because you know how it is. When you come to a conference, people will ask you, what's the one thing you did that changed the game? I'd love to get your reaction to that.
Well, I'm kind of on the same. It's everything. It's all parts, because the marketing helps bring the sales. And once we start growing, we got stuck. We're like, well, shoot, we need more people to help service all these people now. So having a plan and hiring, I mean, so it all works hand in hand. It really does. And so when it comes to one thing, you know, one thing sets a domino effect of everything else. And that's the only way for it to grow. We can't just focus on the marketing, otherwise then everything else would go. So it's the whole package that really makes everything successful.
Now, coaching is all about, you know, accountability. One, you got to have someone hold you accountable. Two, you got to know what to do. And three, you got to have someone who can help you do it. What am I saying? One, you have to have the accountability. Two, you have to know what to do. And then three, you have to have someone that can help you through it if you get stuck. How would you describe the coaching experience? We have a weekly meeting. It's a weekly meeting. It's a flat fee. But how would you describe that weekly coaching meeting with Andrew and our team?
We have a checklist. We go through our agenda. Here's what you need to do next week. And then, so when we're having our meetings, it's, did you do this? How did it go? What do we need to do from there? So it's everything you just said. It's we have a plan. Andrew's keeping me accountable. And then we're discussing then as well of what our next step is, and having that person to communicate with and talk to, you know, like, here's what's going on. Like, what do you suggest? And you don't always have that person sometimes, depending on what it is. And, you know, Andrew can answer all the questions we have. And if he doesn't, he knows how to get it and, you know, have an answer shortly soon, you know, and it all, I mean, it's just great. Otherwise, you know, it's easy to drop off and be like, oh, okay, maybe we'll do it next week or something. But you have that one guy, Andrew, calling you, like, where you at with this? Like, yeah, I need to do that. So if you miss one at the time, you're like, okay, I shouldn't do that again.
Now, if you had to describe what we do in like a sentence, maybe, like if you had to say, or maybe sentences, I won't try to paint you into a corner, but sentences for somebody who's, how would you describe in a sentence or sentences what we do?
Business coaching services. And that's really kind of, it's a whole program that really helps grow everything. It's, you know, I thought, you know, at one point, like, oh, okay, we got to do all this. And in one sentence, it's just the coaching and helping create a legitimate, profitable business.
Brother, I am so honored to know you and to have you on the show. And for people that want to verify, we know your first name's Tavis. What's your last name so people can look you up and verify you're not a hologram?
Tavis Hine. Hine's the last name.
Tavis, I really do appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
You.
You guys are first class there. And again, folks, that website, if you haven't been to it, it's fullarmorwindowsdoors.com, fullarmorwindowsdoors.com. Take care, sir. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too. All right. Thank you.
I learned at the Academy in Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta. Again, this acta non verba. What it means is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say. That's the idea. Watch what somebody does and not what they say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time, not having a professional do it. It has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done. It's great.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Deeds, not words. So acta non verba, deeds, not words, or acts, not words. James, a lot of people, they come to our business workshops because they're listening to our podcast, our business podcast, and they say, man, I want to achieve massive success. And they see some of the testimonials and they go, if that guy could do it, I could do it. That's kind of where it starts.
I see it happen all the time, Clay.
Because your desk is about 2 inches from mine, I think.
Right.
And so people will say, oh, if that guy can do it, then I can do it.
That's correct.
So the 2 big principles I want to teach on today's show, just 2 principles. One is this idea of acta non verba, means acts, not words. The second concept I want to teach is that money is a magnifier.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money, just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I've been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
The last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
Which is more than, and he's an accountant. So we're going to talk about that. So Paul introduced me to Bob because he said there's a guy that came into my office looking to raise some capital. I think that was the thing. And he needed to get some sales going. That's how. And so if we tell Paul, from the accounting perspective, I'm going to pass the mic to you. You do accounting. Why do you have to have a website that makes sense and all that branding stuff? How has that impacted your brand, having websites and all those branding things in place?
Well, when I met you, like most CPAs, I thought my clients only come from referrals, but we get 500 leads in a 2-month period every month just off of Google. And so this is my face. We have 17 offices across 4 states. We have in every state, but this is our face. Like what you were saying, it's visual, and it also us to say why we're different. That about us from there is spectacular, and it just it's an industry that is changing. We're modifying it. We offer our services in a subscription model. To where it's all inclusive, and it's just been awesome.
Will determine the level of success.
So success in business is not what you know how to do, it's actually doing it. And so the thing that I would tell you is stop it. Get a freak like this guy and let him go after it. Insane, because then you can be doing what you do well, and take that time and invest in something else on top of that has contacts. And I don't get anything for selling his, just telling you what he's done for us so that we could focus. And then he'll come in and I'll say, I think I've got it all. And he listens for 5 minutes and he makes one, and I want to slap myself in the face. Well, why didn't I think about that? That's idiotic. But they're sick freaks. They just get it done.
I don't know. I think it's because it's merit-based pay in their office. So if the people here, like, they get paid. So if we were taking on your account and someone else to do this, but if you hired a different marketing company, I'm just giving you best practices. You want to make sure that they win when you win. So like in our office, if we grow Dave Asey's podcast, that benefits our company to the extent it benefits them, but we actually benefit if they benefit. Does that make sense to you?
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
So on today's show, I'm going to just hammer testimonials. So you can see people that heard about the conference through a podcast or through a friend or whatever, and they had a business that was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It wasn't thriving. It was just surviving, right? It was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It was just stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't thriving, it was surviving. And they heard about the podcast, they heard about the conference, they heard about the success stories, and they came to the conference. That's step one. They came to the conference. And by the way, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can name your price for all the workshops I do. We want to make it affordable for everybody. So they came out to the in-person 2-day workshop. They went to Thrivetime Show. They requested a ticket. We called them, got them their ticket. Then, James, we interviewed them after the conference, and we said, how was it?
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The goal setting, well, it's not like it's somewhat basic stuff. Making sure we have different goals for every part of your life is super important. Also, the linear workflow. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
And they said, oh my gosh, I learned so much about business. I learned about the workflows and the marketing and the search engine optimization and the branding and the hiring and the checklists and all this, the bookkeeping, the search engine optimization, the online advertising, the social media. I learned it all. Woo! Yes, I learned it. However, it's acts, not words. Acta non verba. So James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this stuff, but they don't apply it, what happens?
Nothing happens.
But there is a certain group of people, not our listeners, who run around acquiring information and they don't apply it.
Those are the worst types.
So this is what happens is Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author, he says that knowledge without application is meaningless. Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I've found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Knowledge without application is meaningless. So, James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this and they don't apply it, that doesn't matter because the idea is acta non verba, acts not words. So if people come to this conference, you're going to see testimonies of people who came to the conference and they say, wow, I had no idea that this was possible. And then you're going to see people, I'm going to show you testimonials of people that applied what we taught them. People that have grown their accounting practice. Now, by the way, in accounting practice, this is not someone who has invented the concept of accounting. There's other accounting. This just in. There are other accountants.
My business consists, I'm a CPA and a financial advisor, and we're very successful. And I wanted to go from successful to systematic. I wanted to learn systems and processes so that the business can run without me.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But this person, they came to the conference, they learned about how to scale their company. I taught them how to create a subscription model for their accounting as opposed to doing the traditional accounting model. And they've grown the company from $3 million to over $20 million. Wow. Then you're going to see a testimonial, a success story of a home builder who grew the home building business from 15 million to over 150 million. A home builder. And by the way, this just in. There are other home builders. But this home builder grew from 15 million to 150 million of sales.
That's life-changing, Clay.
You're going to hear about a dog trainer who came to this event. Now, let me tell you about the dog trainer. He came to this event, and he had a wonderful business that was it was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't able to grow. He was a great guy, knew how to train dogs, but he didn't have a no-brainer offer. He didn't have a website that was optimized. He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one-sheet.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one sheet, didn't have a pricing structure that worked, didn't have a linear workflow, didn't have an office culture environment, didn't have decoration in the office that would make people want to work there, didn't understand the process of hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining great people, didn't have a pro forma, didn't know how to franchise, didn't know how to license. But what we do, James, is we take people in, they come to the conference, they learn this stuff, and they go, could you teach me how to do it? And I say, absolutely. Now, folks, here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small. What? Here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small.
Favorite aspect is probably just how entertaining it is, and the fact that I pick up 1 or 2 or 3 things every time I come to take my business to the next level. Well, if people are missing out on basically a plan, a guaranteed plan, pretty much if you're willing to work it to be successful. Most people, I think everybody should attend one of these workshops at least once because you don't know what you don't know. And we're not taught to be successful in school.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
A lot of people, they have a fear or a phobia of scaling their business or building the processes. They feel like they don't know what to do, or they need kind of a coach or a mentor to guide them down the path. And so on today's show, you're going to see people that came to a conference, step one. Step two, we taught them how to apply these principles at the conference. Step three, they hired us to help them scale their company. Step four, you're going to hear their success stories. Now, James, money is a magnifier.
We have a little bit of news for you guys. It's now what, May 31st at 6:21. You've been closed for 20 minutes.
Right.
No, it's now June. So let's run the numbers for May. Let's see what he's got.
Totals 102,837.
What's last year to date? 102,837 this year.
And last year was 60,667. Whoa! Coming out of the weeds now.
Boom, baby.
Boom! Out of the weeds, onto the pavement.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
What does that mean? Because we're going to share with you some stories today of an accountant who grew a business from $3 million to $20+ million, of a home builder who grew a business from $15 million to $150 million, of a dog trainer that was able to scale his business from a stagnant business to 15+ locations, to grow the business that was perpetually stuck at 400,000-ish, grow that into a $1 million+ annual revenue.
This year's sales for this week.
So this is the same week last year. Do you see the difference? Look.
What is that? I can't really tell. One is,
Look.
Michael, can we just I just want to get it. Jason, can you kind of pull this end maybe? Just so you can see it. Let's kind of pull it that way. Let's get the link. That's more of a, I can't tell that the length. It's hard to tell.
Look at that. Okay.
So that's last year's sales.
This is last year's sales. And the total is a mere $4,711.73. Same week this year, 2015. The total is, read it, Michael.
$11,313.50.
Oh, boom! There it is.
What?
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Charles Colaw with Colaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building it into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Cola with Cola Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Cola. We'll see you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
That when he's working with me, he's only working with no other gyms that are in direct competition with me. It's very encouraging to have somebody you can trust and rely on, that he isn't going to somehow tell your trade secrets or give information away. Just really awesome that he's a trustworthy guy, really cares about you as a client. For us, it's been a complete mind freedom because Clay has helped us create a lot of different documents and one-sheets for every department, put quantitative scorecards to each department. And so for us, it's been very encouraging and gives us peace. And when, as an entrepreneur, it's stressful. You go to bed at night, you're worried, did we cover this, did we cover that? So he helps extract everything out of your brain, everything from your business, put it into document creation, put it into checklists and workflows for every person in each department, and make sure that everything's getting done every week, every month, and funnel that all into KPIs or key performance indicators that you can see on a weekly basis to make sure you're moving the needle in the right area of your company. It's very encouraging and give you a complete mind freedom and peace to know that stuff's created so you're easy to duplicate and scale your company.
Right, and then we can spend time doing what we're really good at and just trust the system.
I honestly believe everybody needs a coach. I think we're all inherently lazy and selfish and carnal. I truly believe that humans are humans. If we're standing, we'd rather sit. If we're sitting, we'd rather lay down. And if we're laying down, we'd rather be asleep. So to have somebody that challenges you, have real active candor, and be honest with you on every aspect of your company is really, really encouraging to me, because I want to know, I want to work on what we're weak at. I want to see any areas that we're not doing well in, and see his perspective from a third party, because you can look at your own business and just see the good. It's good to have somebody who does this, who's done this with hundreds of companies. Really look at your company, reflect on your company, and see little chinks in the armor to make sure you cover that up so your competition can't get to you, and that you're successful overall in the big picture. So yes, I would recommend Clay Clark because he is a great friend, a great encourager. To me, he's been a wonderful friend. He's also, you can tell he cares, and he has this wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, And just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects, you know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. that's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black Bear Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. You know, my rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach.
Whoa.